Hey everybody, welcome inside of Quakes exclusive. So excited to have you here with us here in our PayPal Park studios. Every single week all season long, we are going to be here breaking down the latest game action, taking you behind the scenes with the team and previewing the week's upcoming match. I am joined right now by former Earthquakes midfielder and Team Hall of Famer Chris Dangerfield, Carlos Yustis, World Cup reporter and longtime sports broadcaster. I'm Kylen Mills. I also have a background in soccer, played Division II, and also have covered the Pac-12 and NWSL. So excited to be with you guys as we usher in a new era for both the San Jose Earthquakes and the MLS. This new partnership with Apple TV is so exciting.
Fantastic to be part of this team now after doing the last, 15 or so years with the local radio and also TV broadcast for the Quakes. And under Luchi Gonzalez, I think we're going into a new era, and I'm excited to be helping bring some insights into the program as we go along.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to be part of this. I think everybody at home is going to be really excited to be welcome to this MLS Season Pass with all the content that we will be creating from the team for you. And then obviously we'll see what happens this season because it's going to be really exciting.
Really exciting, and much more to come in the 2023 season. It is right around the corner, but first, before we look ahead, we got to take a look back at how we got here. The 2022 season was a bit of an up and down battle for the Quakes. We saw a coaching changeover, and the team unfortunately did miss the MLS playoffs. Now, taking a look back, Danger, what are your overall takeaways from the 2022 season for the Quakes?
Yeah, we can't talk about the 2022 season without talking about the coaching situation. I think that hopefully going forward there's going to be good stability in the club under Luchi Gonzalez. He is the man that the front office want. Chris Leach wanted to hire Luchi, but looking back on 2022, Matias Almeida is a very good coach. He's had success in Mexico, Argentina, doing great in Greece, but he didn't quite adjust to life in Major League Soccer. So they moved on. Alex Cavello came in. I thought he did a very good job under the circumstances. He lost Lopez, he lost Calvo. He was in a situation where he had to blood some young players into the club. And I think that's a big plus for the team going forward. Under Luchi is the emergence of and more playing time for players like Cal, Benji Kokanovic, and also Nico Tsakiris.
Yeah, and one of the things that it's really important is that there was accountability. They knew this was not the season everybody expected. They knew that they ended up deep down in the standings on last season, and they had to build from that. And in part of that up and down, as you were saying, is that even though the results didn't start coming at the end of the season, they did try to kind of move the needle forward and bring all their players. Rodriguez came at the middle of the season, especially because they lost Nathan at the beginning of the season for a meniscus tear, and he was out for almost 3 months. After that, they were able to bring Carlos Acapó, they were bringing Miguel Trauco after losing or actually sending players out during the summer. So there is the possibility of making it to that specific spot where they want to be. They want to make it to the playoffs this time around, and there's that accountability that this is not what we wanted, this is where we want to be.
Where they want to be is going to rely largely on the Earthquakes' attack, which was one of the strengths last season. The Earthquakes had a top 10 goal-scoring offense, putting 52 in net in the 2022 season. Carlos, we'll start with you. If you had to pick out one or two players based on what you saw last season, who's going to be leading this Earthquakes attack?
Oh, definitely Jamiro Montero and Jeremy Bobasi. I think the fact that Bobasi had the best season of his career, 17 goals netted. Cristian Espinosa coming again was one of the leading assisters in the league with 14 assists, being able to provide for that. And the fact that the front four is basically untouched. It's going to be the exact same four players that were able to score and make it a top 10 offense, because as much as they leak goals, they were able to make it in a really easy fashion. So the fact that you can bring that around and have new players that are going to help him, like Carlos Grueso, for example, I think it's going to be really exciting for the team.
I look at the emergence of those young players again. I think under Alex Cavello, we saw some of those young players that get more playing time. Luchi Gonzalez is also a coach that likes to bring young players into the organization and play them with the first team. I looked at the emergence and also the continued growth of Cal. His recent performance with the US men's national team have been top-notch. Benji doing his work on the left and also on the right. And if you look at the young players coming through the academy right now with the U17 national team, you've got Cruz Medina, you've got Oscar Verhoeven, you've got Edwin Mendoza, all doing well for the U17s as part of this club. And they'll be training with the first team when they get back from that tournament. Big future, the academy is very important. One player I really think is going to have more minutes and more input in the midfield area is also Nico Tsakiris.
Very excited to see what Nico Tsakiris can accomplish, and our crew actually caught up with him during the team's preseason run in Coachella. He talked a lot about how that experience his rookie season will help him going into year 2.
For me to get some starts and just some minutes, I mean, like you said, 10 appearances as a rookie, it was something that I didn't expect coming into the year, but you know, the opportunity came, you know, my debut against Philly and then my first start against Galaxy at Stanford. It was pretty something special. But you know, as a rookie, you never really think like, yes, of course, you want to make your debut and you want to get your first start and all your firsts, right? But I think for me, the biggest one was just enjoying every day. The academy, I think, was a big part of me kind of taking my next step to join the first team. Not only with, you know, the staff and the support that I had coming through, but also just I felt like the players that we had, the academy, or especially the group that we had, was a very strong team. So I think it really helped me kind of make my next steps. I mean, yeah, given the opportunity to play last year as much as I did, it definitely gives me confidence coming into this year. And you know, with Luchi and what he did at Dallas, it's something that I look forward to. You know, nothing is given, but I still have to do my job like I did last season, and hopefully more opportunities come for me. Coming into my second year, I'm still crazy to think how much I've learned just in that first year, but definitely taking everything in, both sides, on and off the field, into this year, I think will help me quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to kind of everything that's ahead. Yeah.
Well, the team made every effort to bring in some additions in the offseason that will help with some of those results. One that caught a lot of attention was Ecuadorian midfielder Carlos Grueso, brought in the offseason, expected to start at that 6th role. What does he bring to this team?
A lot. I think one of the main points of a team is always to have that spine through the middle, that it's a solid foundation for the team. And Carlos Grueso is basically that. He's going to be a very good holding midfielder, playing that number 6 that can give you balance on the defense, that can distribute the ball. He knows Luchi Gonzalez already for his time at FC Dallas. He was able to help them get to a supporter shield. So it's really important for the team to have somebody at that role that can give you that balance, so that offense can keep producing, but also keep leaking goals, which is something that they were doing last season. And then in order to even improve that, and this is unfortunate because he has to come through from an injury, because we're going to lose Nathan for a while, is the fact that they got Jonathan Mensah, the captain of Columbus Crew, that was able to lead that team to a championship with an MLS Cup in Columbus, and the fact that he also has experience. He's 32 years of age. He has played 2 World Cups too. I mean, he has World Cup experience too. And it's really important to have that center back that is going to be the leader of your defense. And when you think about it, and you have him with Grueso in front, that's the balance that the team needs in order to keep on producing.
With the addition of Traco on the left-hand side, the Peruvian international, playing in the left fullback role, Acapo on the right-hand side, the Spanish player. Both of those are attacking-minded fullbacks. Both of them have good experience, and they will be able to strengthen those outside fullback areas. One player I think is going to be very key in that area as well is Paul Marie. He's almost like a Swiss Army fullback at the moment, because he can play right side, he can play left side, and he will be very important. But I look at the depth of the team and the strength of the team, and that is the offense. And if you look at the players retained from last year, Espinosa on the right-hand side is playing very well in the preseason. Kay Cal just gets better and better and stronger, it seems, not only with the Quakes, but also with the UN's men's national team. And when you've got 17 goals from last year with Jeremy Abobasi, if he can come close to those numbers, you mentioned Montero. I think Montero, for him to be able to chip in with goals and more assists from that attacking midfield role, those 4 are as good as any 4 combination-wise in the league. You throw Benji in that mix as well. There's some very good options there for Luchi Gonzalez. And it's an exciting and potent offense retained from last season.
We have to talk about head coach Luchi Gonzalez is approaching his first season. He brings in a wealth of experience, first with FC Dallas, leading that club to 2 MLS playoff appearances. He most recently worked under Greg Berhalter on the U.S. men's national team staff. Why do you like this hire?
Well, Chris Leach and Jared Charlie, they were completely transparent on what they wanted in this hire. They wanted someone that was club-centric. He's going to put the club first. The club is going to be built from the academy up, playing the same style. Alex Cavello comes in as the director of methodology, and that very important. And you got that going throughout the vein of the club. They wanted somebody with Major League Soccer experience. Luchi's got it. They wanted somebody who's worked with academy players successfully. FC Dallas Academy probably still is the best in the league in producing players for transfers and also for the first team. And they wanted somebody to play exciting football on the front foot, looking for attacking play in wide areas, creating opportunities. He was the man. That's the one they went after, and Chris Leach went and got his man.
And especially because Luchi Gonzalez, I mean, I fortunately have the luxury of knowing Luchi for almost 20 years. It's just the quality of a person that he is, and the fact that his background in education, on being able to be that player, that coach that can be close to players, and the development. That development is fantastic, and it not only happens with the academy players, it happens also with the veterans. So the fact that you have somebody that cares for the players and that is that personable is going to be a big addition for the club.
I'm super excited to see how Luchi leads this team, and you hear the players talk about him already, and they say that he just brings such a positive energy. Our crew sat down with the Earthquakes' new head coach, Luchi Gonzalez, to talk more about his rise in coaching and how that prepared him for this role.
I grew up in South Florida. I was born in a part of Miami called Hialeah, and then we moved down to South Miami later in my youth. I grew up with English, Spanish, Portuguese in my neighborhood, and definitely influenced me in terms of being a part of soccer, you know, and having soccer be in my life. The way it was played in Latin America, South America, definitely influenced me in the way I played personally, and definitely influenced me in my way that I coach it today. Going to college, which I never expected to go to SMU, and I never really had heard of the school, but they offered me a full scholarship, and the coach, you know, made a plan that I was going to make an impact as a freshman, and so I made my decision. That's where I wanted to be, and Coach Ellis Hyndman gave me that opportunity, and he definitely showed me about structure. He showed me about organization, so kind of taking this creativity, this background of going anywhere, moving anywhere anytime I wanted to, but giving it organization, giving it structure, it helped kind of professionalize me and help get me to that next level to eventually play professional. So Ellis Hyndman, as I mentioned before, was my college coach. We've always been in touch. He's like a father figure to me. He was the current coach at FC Dallas. At the end of 2011, we had talked, we were just staying in touch, and it just wasn't a good moment. Oscar Pareja, who was the academy director and the U18 academy coach. Actually, he took the position as the assistant with the U17 national team, and then with the Colorado Rapids in their professional team. So during those few months, Shells reached out, along with Fernando Clavijo, who was my coach at Colorado Rapids. They both gave me the opportunity to join FC Dallas and be an academy coach. The transition with my role in the academy in FC Dallas into being the professional coach actually was pretty organic. It is a club that builds from within. They do give opportunities to the players and staff to develop, be in a pathway in the club and get opportunities. I was always put in these positions where I was the head coach or I was the director. I was the head coach or I was the director, and obviously I took a lot of pride in that and learned in those processes because there were different levels. And then being an assistant with the U.S. national team was my first opportunity, and I'm so thankful that I had that opportunity, because you learn as an assistant a perspective that's different than as a head coach. You have to understand you're a member and you're supporting a specific specialized area for the head coach, for the staff, for the players, as opposed to seeing the whole picture. You know, when you're a head coach, you are focused on how do you get from A to Z, and when you're an assistant or you're a staff member, you're just trying to help. You're trying to help that picture get to A to Z, but you maybe need to be responsible for A to B or B to C or C to D. You know, so the micro. So that all those things in detail, I just in the year it was an incredible year of education with the national team and as an assistant. I wish I had been an assistant prior just to learn those things, but it all happened for a reason, and I'm really thankful for it. Well, our mission as a team, and we spoke about this in the opening meeting, is we want others to admire the way the San Jose Earthquakes act and play. And so there's two elements there. It's on and off the field, right? So You know, we talked about the clear objective of our team in terms of results are have a good preseason. You know, let's be ready to win game 1 away. So create this road warrior mentality in the preseason, playing all these away games, MLS matches, so we can go to Atlanta and be ready. And then it's to make the playoffs. And if you make the playoffs, then it's like a new season. It's about who's in that momentum to win an MLS Cup. I got pumped up when I felt and saw the potential. And then when you speak to ownership and you speak to leadership in the club, you realize they want to keep growing. They are investing in a data analysis team. You know, there's potentially a new facility in the future that could be amazing. Our fan base, it's one of the most historical clubs in MLS, if not the most historical club in the country, with a rich tradition of winning championships. So the opportunity to bring that back to the Bay Area, and with a strong fan base that's hungry to see an exciting team do some great things. It all put together in a way that I just had to lead this, and I didn't know if it was going to be me to be the coach, named the coach, but when it was presented to me and offered, it was an easy decision.
It's been so impressive the way Luchi Gonzalez has really been able to climb the coaching ladder. It seems like he's done everything the right way.
And especially because it brings him the actual experience that you need for every single piece of it. The fact that he's been able to work with kids, with teenagers, with professionals, national team players. I mean, you can ask more of a coach.
Well, Luchi Gonzalez, along with the rest of the Earthquakes, will be in action. The season opener just around the corner on February 25th. What are you looking for in that game?
Interesting one, because the Quakes have had a good preseason, and I think they're playing well under Luchi Gonzalez. But, you know, Atlanta is the tough place to go. Their last season home opener, they had 67,000 fans there. That place is going to be rocking, which is a hostile environment. They were a little bit of a team in transition from the top down. They've got a new general manager in Garth Lagerwey. They've lost their talisman in Joseph Martinez, who's gone to Miami. You know, so they brought in new players like Giacomakis coming from Greece, who's going to take that number 9 role Martinez had. On the positive side for them, they've got Miles Robinson back, who was very unlucky not to be in the men's national team for the US at the World Cup. They have a MVP caliber type player with Thiago Almada in the midfield, the Argentinian international who was part of the World Cup squad for Argentina. So it's a very exciting team with a big crowd. And I think that if Luchi can take the team in there and play the way they've been playing in the preseason, getting any kind of result there would be a very important and successful road trip for the Quakes.
Yeah, and especially because, I mean, Gonzalo Pineda has more time to develop the Atlanta team. It's always hard to play on turf. You're going to go play on a turf surface. Coming from the Quakes, it's like now we see the veteran players, what's the impact they're going to have on an environment like that? What is Jonathan Mensah and Carlos Grueso when they get together on that midfield / defensive side of the field, being able to make this team strong and be able to have those players up top keep doing what they've been doing and build from it, but now with a lot more balance. And then what's also Luchi going to do in this case? What's the kind of soccer that the Arsenal Circle is going to be? What's the identity of this team and all the pieces are going to be bringing together?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how some of those position battles shake out. The starting 11 we see in this game may not necessarily be cemented because of how competitive this roster is.
Will Luchi go on the front foot, and would he do a high press and put that defense under pressure? Or would he sit a bit lower in a block and maybe try and catch them on the transition and try and, so maybe take that passion out the crowd early on? Obviously, it'd be great to get an early goal against a team like Atlanta United and then be able to sit a little bit deeper and maybe cast them on the transition with players like Espinosa and K-Cal. But there's no doubt that he does have the tools to be able to play with a high press or a low block, and we'll see which approach he has in the first game against Atlanta.
I mean, during the preseason, we saw him be very stable on the lineups, at least to start the game. So we'll see if he sticks to that or if he's going to throw something different, but that's the excitement of having the season start.
All right, before we go, score predictions for Saturday's game. Give it to me.
Once again, as I said, I think getting any kind of result on the road against Atlanta United and their home opener, that's a tough matchup, it really is. I like to think that the team can get a point out of it. I'm going 2-2.
Oh, that's a lot of goals. I was going to go with a 1-1, but I definitely feel like you got to start the season in the right note, but it's a tough place to start it. So as long as you see the balance and the growth, I think that's the first step forward.
I'm going to go with an Earthquakes win. 2-1 Earthquakes, take one on the road in Atlanta. It's going to be a statement win for Luchi Gonzalez and the club. Please, guys, prove me right. All right, well, the Earthquakes open up the season in just a couple of days. Saturday, February 25th, 4:30 kickoff right here on MLS Season Pass. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will all see you right back here next week.